Hi and welcome. Thomas Brinsko here with BIC Magazine, and today we welcome a distinguished voice in the world of energy and American manufacturing. Many of you know him. Chet Thompson is the CEO and president of the American Fuel and Petrochemical Manufacturers, also known as AFPM. Since 2015, he's led the organization in advocating for the vital role that fuel and petrochemicals play in powering American progress and securing our economic future. Under his leadership, AFPM has become a very strong voice in any debate on energy policy, environmental regulations, and energy innovation. Chet, thanks so much for being with us.
Thomas, always a pleasure to spend time with you.
Hey, first question I want to ask you. Congress just passed and the president signed his big, beautiful bill. Right before it was signed, AFPM sent out a little press release praising what the Senate had done in the reconciliation bill, saying this was going to be pro-industry and great for the economy. What specifically does the big, beautiful bill have in store for fuel manufacturers and petrochemicals?
Well, I'll answer the question in a couple of ways, Thomas. One, it was, the praise was what a hard process. The Senate and the House had such little margins to work with. It really, Leader Thune, Speaker Johnson really did a remarkable job. Listen, the issue about the big, beautiful bill was mostly about the tax consequences. Unless something was done, the average tax rates were going to skyrocket for individuals. There was also a lot of talk originally about raising the corporate tax rate. So at the end of the day, they got this bill done. No taxes on consumers, which we think are critical to make sure that we don't get a blip in the economy. As the economy goes, so does demands for refined goods and petrochemicals, as you know. So that part was really good. As far as the energy specific things, that we had asked for, again, the corporate rates to stay the same. They did. We wanted to make sure we could continue to do things like accelerated depreciation, which are huge for capital projects, as you know, in order to give our, companies the ability to continue to expand and get bigger and better. There were some things that we didn't love, frankly, and what we call the 45Z part of the bill, which is about renewable fuels. They did some things that we would have wished they hadn't done. They limited the ability to create some tax credits for making renewable fuels out of foreign feedstocks. Yeah. And, we have a lot of renewable diesel assets that need that. But by and large, as a whole, we were happy with it.
It's just really good for the economy generally.
Yeah.
On the general economy, I've been seeing so many announcements of major manufacturing investments, not necessarily directly in petrochemicals or refining, but pharma, IT, the data centers and so forth. I think they've had $2 trillion worth of investment announcements and maybe another 2 or 3 trillion that have been pledged even beyond that. How does that general manufacturing impact petrochemical and refineries?
Yeah, well, I think it's, Thomas, the same that you alluded to. It's the general economy, more manufacturing, more jobs, more people needing, the products that we make. So I think all of it goes together. I like to see down the road, some more investment, particularly around infrastructure that we need. We know we need strong infrastructure to continue to grow within our midstream. So I think it's all good. It all inures to our benefit.
Veering off that topic for a moment, I know that you're involved with some UN recycling negotiations right now. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, this is, some pretty important happening. So, the quick story of this, Thomas, is, a couple of years ago, there was a United Nations resolution to try to get a global agreement to end plastic pollution in the environment. Mm-hmm. So that's something that AFPM and our member companies have not only supported, but have been, really actively trying to make sure it could be successful. And so the next round of meetings are coming up in Geneva, Switzerland, in a few weeks. We will be there. We're bringing a whole delegation, and we're trying to, if there is going to be agreement, we think the agreement needs to focus on how do you really keep plastics out of the environment. Some people believe the best way to do that is to put it out of plastics. And so
it's not going to happen.
We're there in part to make sure that doesn't happen. What we're trying to promote through this agreement is, again, first and foremost, keep plastics out of the environment. We know that that's a goal we all share. And how do we drive to a more circular economy? Because that's what it's going to take in order to get plastics, constantly being recycled. And if it's being recycled and they're treated as commodities, as they should be, post-consumer materials, it's going to help solve the problem. Not everyone agrees with the right approach, as you said, but over the last few months, we've been trying to convince the Trump administration to stay engaged in these negotiations. They're happening with or without us.
Right.
And, if we're not there to fight for our company's interest, what happens when you're not at the table.
Yeah, sure. You've got such a unique background to enable you to really deal with our own internal government in the United States and even multi-governmental international things. I know you worked for the EPA for a while.
Yeah.
How does that experience really impact your job right now? And what would you tell us about maybe some of the career bureaucrats?
Yes. Well, yeah, you're right. I spent 3 years. I was President George W. Bush's Deputy General Counsel of EPA. I spent 3 years. They were great years. Look, you learned a lot. I used to say until I actually experienced being in the belly of the beast, you don't really know how it operates.
Right.
It's a complex.
I think that's Trump 1.0 and 2.0.
100%. You're seeing that play out right now. But here's what I'll say about people at EPA. By and large, they're a very smart, dedicated group of people. They need our help. They don't fully understand our industry. They don't fully understand a lot of industries. So the way we engage EPA is not necessarily come in as if they're hostile. Our goal at AFPM is always to find, listen to us, balance. How do we want to provide the fuels and the petrochemicals that we know the world needs to thrive, but we need to do it in a more sustainable way.
Sustainable.
My goal, it's invaluable experience to have worked in the government. It allows us to have a different viewpoint on how to engage, how to work with them, and hopefully how to be successful.
Yeah. Well, Chet, thanks for your time. I know you're busy.
Thanks for everything you do for the industry. We appreciate it, and we look forward to working with you.
God bless.